I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm going to go through tonight some of my top tips and tricks on how you can start enrolling clients into your online program, even if you haven't created it yet. If you have created it yet, I'm going to show you a few things you can do to continue to keep that enrollment going on a consistent basis. Some of these things are super simple and you can do them right on your own, even starting today. And some of these things take a little bit more time and maybe even the help of an expert like myself to get them done and implemented. What is a high ticket offer really, and why is it great for your business? That's what I want to start with. In my world, a high ticket offer is something usually around $1,000 or more, and it typically can take a phone call, like a sales call, to close somebody into it. Not very often are you going to be able to sell something of a high ticket value straight from an ad or an email, unless they are really hot clients, right? Like you've been working with them for a while and they know, like, and trust you totally. So, but what is this high ticket offer that I'm talking about, and why is it right for you? Well, it may not be right for you, but I want to tell you why it's right for most of you. And that is, if you are a person that wants freedom, and I mean freedom in all senses of the word. And if you want time freedom, if you want financial freedom, if you want less stress, you want to maximize your impact, high ticket programs in the fashion that I'm going to talk about tonight are totally for you. If it's aligned with your vision and your goals for yourself, personally and professionally. For me, I am on a mission here to have an impact on as many people as possible. And the way that I have structured my programs allows me to do that. So yes, I still work with people one-on-one, and that is not scalable. It pays very well. It's my highest price offer or program, but I can only work with a couple of people at one time. That does not maximize my impact here. So I've created these programs that allow me to work with multiple people at a time and still charge a really fair amount of money and not have to work one-on-one, not have to use all of my time in order to serve the people that want my help. So a way that I like to put it is we can work with 10 to 20 people at a time and make 10 to 20 times the amount of income in 10 to 20% of the time that we would work with one-on-one. And so if that sounds like something that you would like to be able to do for your business, then this is definitely a training that you should pay attention to. So whenever most people start out in their businesses, we do all work kind of one-to-one. We have to get our feet wet a little bit. We have to prove our processes. We have to get results for our clients, and really just set up our processes and our way of doing things. But there comes a time when we realize we cannot continue working one-on-one at any kind of scalable capacity. And that's why these high ticket offers or programs are so wonderful. So these high ticket programs are not just online courses. They have a coaching component to them. They have a group type of call component to them, some accountability. So in my experience and in my opinion, online courses that people just purchase and then hope they go through them, they just don't work. And so I want people to actually implement the things that I'm teaching them. And so I have found that having an accountability component and a group call component to my particular programs works very, very well. It doesn't matter what industry or niche you're in. It is all about how you can ensure that the people going through your process and through your material and through your teaching are going to get the best results possible. Whether you are in fitness, weight loss, consulting, digital marketing, child care, like anything you have that you want to share with others, they're going to have a better success rate if they have some of you live with them going through that process. So that is really why creating a high ticket offer is right for you. If you want freedom, if you want time, if you want some more money. And so it depends on the price point that you set, how much income that you're going to make. And that's where it's really important to set your own personal goals and vision for what you want. So some people that I work with just really would like to have an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. That is impactful for the majority of people on this planet, right? If you could just make that extra house payment a year, if you could just not have to stress out about how you're going to make a car payment, what happens if you don't have an emergency fund, maybe you want to put some of that money away for that. So making just enough to have that peace of mind might be all that you want, and that's okay. Some people are a little more driven and have bigger goals and visions for themselves and for their businesses, and they want to make 6 figures a month or more. And I've seen it happen. I've helped people do it. And it just really depends on what you want. And a part of the program that I have created that I take people through is really getting clear on what it is that you want for yourself, not only for your business, but for your personal life too. There are a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things happen whenever you take the leap from making, 5 figures a month to 6 figures a month. And it depends if that's what you want to do with your time. So it's really up to you. So I'm just, you see me looking over to the side once in a while, I'm just kind of looking at my notes. Typically on a live training, you might see a slideshow or a webinar. Well, that's not exactly what I wanted to do here with you today. I wanted to be a little more open and candid and be available also face-to-face to answer questions that you might have. So that is what a high ticket offer is. And that's why I think it's important to have it as a part of your business. Something that I teach, which I'm not going to go over tonight, is a 3-pronged business model where we work on filling out 3 different tiers for our business. We have our most expensive tier, which is the one-on-one. We have our mid-tier, which is like the group programs like I'm talking about today. And then we have our lower level tier, which is just the course material. So, but what I want to talk about is how you can charge a premium price for your knowledge and your time to a group of people and be able to enroll these people in these groups as often as you want. Some people do these on 90-day increments. Some people do these twice a year. Some people have their programs open ongoing. It just depends on how you want to structure yours. And if you want to take people through a cohort type situation, meaning everybody starts and finishes together, or if your curriculum is set that people can kind of work at their own pace. So that is what a high ticket offer is and why it's probably right for your business. I love a high ticket offer, and I'm saying even at $1,000, I think that's a fair place to start. Even $500 if you're new in all of this game and you're not sure if people are going to pay for your expertise or your knowledge, it's okay to start the pricing wherever you are most comfortable, and then you can work your way up. I hear a lot of noise out there about, oh, you should charge what you're worth or this or that. And so if you price your product at a lower price point, that doesn't devalue you as an expert or as a person. I price my products so I can help as many people as possible. Some of my one-on-one products are between $15,000 and $25,000 to work with me for a 90-day increment. My group programs are priced to help people that are not at that level yet, right? You still get a lot of assistance, you still get a lot of help, you still get a lot of me, but I've done it to where I can still have some freedom of time and money. So I want to help you have the same thing. I want you to work with, like I said, 10 to 20 people at a time, making 10 to 20 times the amount of income that you would make one-on-one, and because it is a group. And then I want you to do that in 10 to 20% of the time that you would be working one-on-one with someone. And yeah, it's changed the way that I do business. One-on-one work gets really tiring, and it's like you have, if that's all that you do is one-on-one, it's almost just like you have a lot of bosses that you have to report to. And sometimes that's okay, and sometimes it's not. So, okay, so my high ticket offer formula, that's what I want to go over next. What is the high ticket offer formula? Well, it's something that I help people create, define whenever we're creating your own online offer, okay? And so the first thing that we need to do is determine your avatar, or who this is for, okay? So instead of doing the whiteboard stuff behind me, I'm gonna write it down on a piece of paper here. But the first thing we need to define is who your product is for, okay? Sometimes this is one of the most difficult things that we can do. And it's hard because we think we want to help everyone and we're not able to help everyone. And then our message gets convoluted and we end up speaking to no one. So the main thing you can do to start creating your online program is figure out who you want to work with. This doesn't mean that for the rest of your life, you're going to be working with this particular person or niche. But to start out, you have to pick one person that you want to help. And then you want to define what problem you're going to solve for them. So we have the what, okay? So when you know the who and you know them very well, you can determine what you want to help them do. What problem are you going to solve for them? Whenever you have the who and the what, then you can decide how. How are you going to help them solve this problem? And that would be your program outline, your delivery, how you're going to deliver the information to the people. I don't know if that's backwards or if that's right side, but I don't know. I'll look at it on my phone, I think, and see and make sure that you can see the words that I'm writing. So once you have the who and you have the what and you have the how, then you can determine your unique selling proposition, which I know that sounds fancy and whatever, but it is like your one sentence elevator pitch. When somebody says, hey, what do? You can say, boom, this is what I do. So that is what I love helping people create, because if you can state what it is you do and who you do it for with absolute clarity and certainty, there is no confusion about what you do. There is no confusion on either side of the fence. They know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what problem you're going to solve for them, and they are going to decide yes or no right away. If you fumble around and say, well, I help people do this and I help people do that, and then you start talking and rambling around, well, people get confused and they tune out and they don't want to buy from that. So having that unique selling proposition as a part of your overall kind of process is super, super important. So whenever we do this, I'm going to write that down here, unique selling proposition, USP, your unique selling proposition. This is like, I help blank do blank, and usually we like to put a quantifiable, measurable thing in context there. So I help coaches and consultants and business owners create, launch, and scale their online offers in 90 days or less. How about that? How easy is that to say? Like, oh, what do you do? Boom, there it is. So now I want you to think about that for yourself. And if you know it, will you type it over in the comments for me or below, wherever you're seeing this? I'd love to know your unique selling proposition. It usually is, I help blank, whoever it is that you help, and then you define what it is you do, which is usually the problem that you've defined that you solve for them, okay? I like a time frame because it's quantifiable, it's measurable. They'll know like, oh, I get that in 4 weeks or less, or I get that in 90 days or less, whatever it is. So I would love to know yours. I help the avatar that you decided solve what kind of problem or give them what type of outcome in a certain time frame. This is easy to do whenever you're talking about business type things like we have, like I can tell you, I can help you make an extra 5 figures a month. I can add an extra 5 figures to your bottom line. People want to know like, okay, so I'm going to invest this money and then what am I going to get out of it? And how long is it going to take me? That's easy to do whenever I'm doing business type coaching, right? But if you are doing transformational type coaching, it's a little more complicated. We got to get really creative about it, right? People don't want to pay for clarity, right? Even though that's a huge part of what a lot of us do. We help people get clear, but we can't say I'm going to help women get really clear on what they want for their lives in 30 days. Like, all right, that's great. I can probably listen to a Mel Robbins book and get the same thing. So why are you different? And so that's why I love figuring out with my clients what their unique selling proposition is, especially if you are in a transformational space. One of my clients right now, he's a one-on-one client, And he helps teens. He's a life coach for teens, right? He wants to be like the Tony Robbins of teenagers, which I love. And it's really hard to have a measurable outcome when you're talking about coaching and teaching teens, especially around leadership and, you know, all the other things that teenagers go through and they need to develop. So it's been very interesting and creative to come up with his unique selling proposition for his program. He works one-on-one with people. So you can't just say, yeah, well, we're going to learn some stuff and you're going to be a better leader. Well, we don't want to be better anything, right? If you listen to Russell Brunson or if you follow him, he talks about wanting to have a new opportunity, right? We don't want better. So we want to avoid ER at the end of something that we're doing. And we want to create a new opportunity. So we don't want to help people be better. We want them to have something brand spanking new. So Ross shared his here. He helps restaurants get 100 private party reservations in 45 days or less. Boom. That's awesome, right? So if you are a restaurant owner and you are listening to Ross talk and he can spit that out super fast, it's a no-brainer, right? They know exactly what they're going to get whenever they work with Ross. They're going to get 100 new clients or 100 new reservations booked in 45 days or less. So nice, so laid out, so easy. Who else? Does anybody else have theirs in here? I'd love to see your unique selling proposition if you have it. Remember, I help your avatar, whoever that is, your ideal client, and then you put in whatever problem or outcome that you have. Okay, the problem that you solve, not your problem, the problem that you solve or the ultimate outcome of your product, your service, and a time frame. So if you don't have this, it's okay. I'll be able to give you this as a resource later. If you just message me, I'll redo it for you. But this is something that I go through my clients with. It's very big in the 3 steps that we go through in my own program, right? Crafting that, so to speak, elevator pitch is super important. If you go to networking events, if you do anything, if you have a sales call, if you are in any Facebook groups and people ask, what do you do? Like, it's so nice to be able just to have so much clarity around it for yourself that you can have no confusion. You know exactly what it is you're doing. Okay, Robin here shared that she helps menopausal women reduce symptoms naturally in 90 days or less. That's great. I would love to know a little bit more about what reduced symptoms means and maybe be a little more specific in that, but otherwise it's great. You know exactly who you want. That's a great age range, right? Because you say menopausal, most women, if they are in that age range, they'll understand that. And you have a time frame, which is 90 days or less. You could also say, because I believe since we've talked before, that you do that without drugs or substances or bioidentical hormones or whatever, synthetic methods. Like, you could totally put that your methods are natural, and that's a big part of why you do what you do. I think, if I'm right on that. So you could add that to it, right? Without blank. Like with mine, I help coaches, consultants, business owners create, launch, and scale their online programs in 90 days or less, even if they're brand new, right? Or even if they don't have a list yet, or even if they've never created a program before. So you can see, you can add that to it. A lot of people that I work with have never created an online program before. They've never worked with funnels and websites and all these different techie things. And so I love to help people navigate all of that. So adding that in there without being tech nerd or whatever you want to put, like, it can have fun too, like, be part of your personality in all of this. We don't have to be these robots following everything. As you see, like, if you follow me, you kind of probably see that I am not a conformist. I don't play the game the way that everybody else plays it. I have my own way around things. While I use the basis and the principles that I've learned and that I follow with some of the experts, I still like to do things kind of my way. And that's how I got here in the first place. I couldn't conform to bureaucratic schools and different ways of people telling me what to do. So yeah, I've learned how to do things, but I've also put my own spin on it. And I want you to do that for yourself too. You're doing this because you want freedom, right? You want freedom to choose how you do your thing. And there's great roadmaps, right, that we can create, rules to follow, guidelines, but you can make it your own. So just keep that in mind as you're going through building out your programs. Oh, here's Beck. Thanks for being here, Beck. She helps entrepreneurs get 10 or more speaking and podcast gigs in 90 days. Love it. So easy. So you know that if you're an entrepreneur, and you want to have some speaking engagements or you want to have more visibility, you can have 10 or more in 90 days with Beck. Like, that's fantastic. So I hope that you guys can see the value behind this and what the high ticket offer formula is. You define who you want to work with, what problem you're going to solve, how you're going to solve it, and that then becomes your unique selling proposition. So I hope that helps. So whenever I see these live trainings, people have like the whiteboard beside them or whatever, and I never can see it. Like, my eyesight's not great. And so that's another reason that I'm doing this, sitting here. So hopefully you can see what it is that I am writing and sharing. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. That's how I made it my own. Okay. And then I also saw Rachel Miller do something similar to this. And I don't know if you know her, but she's pretty awesome. And if you want me to send you some photos of my notes here, I'll just message them to you after we're finished here. So that's a bonus. If you stay on, you can message me and I will send you just pictures of my notes. How about that? I also have notes here in my notebook. I have about 50 of these things laying around. So, all right. So now we've gone over why creating a high ticket offer is right for you. Okay. If you want freedom, if you want more money, if you want to fulfill your mission here on the planet, and that includes helping more people than you can help one-on-one, and you want to increase your impact, that is why a high ticket offer is great for your business. And when I say high ticket offer, I'm meaning a program, like a course with you involved. Okay. Yes, I can help you create a course online that is just completely leveraged that you are out of. But I love the personal component that the programs that I help people create involve, whether it's a live event after the 90 days, whether it's a once a week or once every other week group call, whatever it is that has your own personal touch in it. Maybe you have an assistant that wants to do the check-ins or the accountability. Like, there's so many ways to structure these that work for you and for your life. I personally am a busy mom of 2 teenage sons, and no, I do not want to be on calls 40 hours a week. It is draining and I won't have anything left for my kids. I've been there and I've done that. Okay. That's how my life was for 12 years before I started my own business. And I don't want to go back to that. And I did get sucked into it whenever I was just trying to figure this out and just really wanting to make my mark here. And so I was working a lot one-on-one. It was using up all my time, all my energy. The money was fantastic. But while I was supposed to be watching my son play hockey, I was checking emails on my phone. While I was supposed to be cooking dinner for them in the evenings, I was sitting in my office still working. And something happened and I said, this isn't going to work anymore. So I switched it up. And now I love to help people get that own freedom for themselves back, because you started your own business to be in control of your time and hopefully make a little bit more money. And what happens is we get caught in the trap of one-to-one, which is time for money trap. And I like to help people get out of that. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done that already. And if you'd like to check out more of our videos, go ahead and just tap the screen right here.